Well, there are definitely teams that we thought would underperform have overperformed, and likewise the other way around. And you talked about Jason R. Maybe he left a curse on his old team because FaZe Clan don't look so good right now.
No, FaZe legend.
Like, voodoo in his background.
Please recognize him as such, Arda.
You know,
legendary FaZe captain.
Record since he left the team.
Legendary FaZe captain Jason R.
You're absolutely respect. Right. How dare I? How dare I? Well, that legendary captain has left his team in shambles apparently because FaZe Clan did not make the top 16. And so now we are in this situation where they're not out entirely, right? They can go into the second open qualifier, which is a tougher road for them, and they can still make it to the next round of the First Strike tournament. But for FaZe Clan and also teams like NRG and Andbox, let's talk about them as a group here. You can feel free to pick one team to focus on here, Emily, but how concerned should any of these three teams be that they had such a poor performance in the open qualifiers, in the first open qualifier in First Strike?
I'm going to put NRG aside just because I think, you know, the whole first tournament thing applies. It just so happens that this is probably the biggest tournament we're going to have all year, or like the most meaningful. And they can still qualify. Andbox, I think we had a lot of really strong expectations from them from their win in the Renegades tournament. And I think their strengths were shown in that tournament. Specifically, their approach to split was really, really good. And then we saw that beyond that, they still have a lot to improve on, right, from their performance in this tournament. So I'm not super concerned about Andbox either. I think it's a very similar thing where we were thinking, you know, we were talking about them last week. We're like, how much does this mean? Well, it's great that they look so well coordinated. It's great that they have this really interesting approach to split and play really well on it. But we want to see them in a team with, you know, the like more of the major orgs. I mean, even though they didn't really go up against them, I think that's still like, you know, like you kind of put a pin in them and just be like, okay, we'll wait to see how you can improve from this. I think there's a lot of good like pieces there. FaZe is definitely the most concerning one. It's not like super, because again, like I think to stress what I kick this off with, it's one of those things where if they do have an off day, or if they do struggle in any respect, there are teams that can easily beat them because everything in North America is like, obviously you still have stratification, but there's that threat from every single team you face. And I don't want to say like, oh man, this is like super concerning for FaZe. I do think that a lot of the kind of issues that they had previously are still kind of issues, where Corey is the standout player, and then someone like Baby Bay, who sometimes tends to play ahead of the rest of the team, gets in trouble, and they're still trying to figure out their coordination. So of these three, I would be the most concerned about FaZe. But even then, like, there's no team in this tournament where I'm like, oh my gosh, the sky is falling, this is awful, etc.
Yeah, I don't think anyone here really needs to be sweating too much. Obviously, when you think about it logically, a lot of these top teams who are in the first tournament aren't going to be in the second open qualifier because they're already going to be qualified for First Strike. So that makes the second tournament a bit easier when it comes to open qualifying. On FaZe Clan's point, I actually don't think it was that big of an upset. It wasn't even an upset at all. I think the better team, the more consistent team over the last month or two, during the dark ages of North American Valorant, won Equinox Esports, the former China Win, a team that has shown time and time again these players have been around the scene since the very beginning, and they've been top Radiant players, and they've performed very well. We've seen Som have these guys up as one of the best amateur teams. Then, when Som left, bringing players like D-Cop and Mina, this team once again rose to the top of the amateur scene until Equinox Esports, a new Oklahoma City venture, picked them up very recently. And I think that's maybe one of the reasons why people are like, oh, FaZe got upset. They lost to this random Equinox team. But no, like, I think statistically, if you look at like kind of like the ELO rankings, it wasn't an upset at all. I think the better team won in that respect. So FaZe has to catch up to Equinox, not the other way around. And just kind of to finish off the points of these three teams that kind of fell in the early stages of the tournament. NRG NRG Ace, come on, man, your team, they lost. They need you, buddy. They need you. The Jet's there, buddy. Come on, Asu. We all want to see you, pull it out. Because please, everyone's waiting for you. I know you want to be a variety streamer. I know you're raking in that streamer cash. Come on.
We just have to convince him that the thrill of competition is more important than grabbing the bag.
Competition, Asu. Come on, man. I want to see it. I want to see Ace play professionally. I interviewed him at the start of Valorant, and I picked Ace as the guy who was going to be the breakout star of the Valorant scene before it even started. I was kind of right. I was kind of right and kind of wrong. Kind of right that he would lead the Valorant scene in the Twitch streaming world, but not in the competitive scene. I want to see Ace play competitive. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think this is a cause of concern. They're a very new team, obviously, their first term. I do think NRG will have a very good chance of qualifying for First Strike in the upcoming UMG tournament. But you always want to see the best players play, man. And someone who's exciting and mechanically driven as Asu, and in a very fledgling scene, like he could be a mega star. He's a player that if you took him to the first World Championship, he would put on a show, win or lose. I know, but the variety bag is too big. I know grinding one game, especially Valorant, can be very tiring. I know, Arda. I know, Emma. But I want to see it. I still want to see it.